happening, kids? Tim Kreitz here, Tim Kreitz Adventures. Today, I'm going to take you to one of my favorite restaurants, and we're going to talk about the difference between Tex-Mex cuisine and Mexican traditional cuisine. And then I'm going to take you to one of the oldest surviving structures in West Texas. And it's not in ruins for once, it's actually been restored. Stick around. A few months back, Suburban Delinquent and I were having a phone conversation. We were talking about how he does all of his food vlogs, motorcycle vlog, food vlog. And he was like, man, what is the difference between Tex-Mex cuisine and traditional Mexican cuisine? I don't know. I'd really like to figure that out. He said, you should do that because you are in West Texas. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about the difference between Tex-Mex cuisine and traditional Mexican. Traditional Mexican hate it when I do that. Traditional Mexican cuisine is stuff like sopes. If you've ever had those, I'm not going to explain what all this stuff is, just look it up. And mole dishes, chicken adobo sauces. That's the kind of stuff that makes up traditional Mexican cuisine. And on top of that, there are some dishes that have sort of morphed into Tex-Mex. Tex-Mex uses a lot of beef and a lot of cheese, and it's stuff like nachos and fajitas and variations on traditional Mexican cuisine. And it's actually in a lot of ways more popular than traditional Mexican cuisine at this point. So I'm going to take you to have some Tex-Mex cuisine at one of my favorite places. There's a variation on an old Mexican chile recipe. The chiles in something or another. The name escapes me. It's a chili dish that has a white sauce with pomegranate seeds on it. Well, here in Texas, we've taken that and we've turned it into chiles rellenos. And this one particular Mexican restaurant that I really like has a very Tex-Mex take on that, where they replaced the pomegranates with raisins and walnuts, and the thing is battered and covered in cheese and sour cream. It's just delicious, and I haven't eaten today, and I'm so looking forward to this. Here we are. La Bodega. Love this place. Oh man, that was awesome. I could not eat all of that. I got the small plate and I still couldn't eat all of it. It's too much food. Alright, so before I leave Odessa and head back home, I do want to take you guys by and show a really neat old house from the 1870s. I show a lot of ghost town type stuff on this channel, which you know if you watch it on a regular basis. And it's usually all in ruins and all messed up, but they've done a really good job with this house. It's called the White Pool House. They've completely restored it. It's a beautiful place. I'm trying to figure out where to turn here. I think I need to go down a little bit further. Here it is, right up here on the right. This is quite a place right here. Yeah, the White Pool House.
This house was built in the 1870s by a family by the name of White, who came here to West Texas from Indiana. They moved here because the matriarch of the family needed to live in a dry climate for health reasons, and they ended up becoming merchants here. They lived here until the early 1900s and sold the house to a family called Poole. The house later fell into disrepair. It was an apartment building for a while in the 30s and 40s, and eventually just fell into ruin like so much other stuff here in West Texas does. But luckily in the 70s, late 70s, a group got together, decided to preserve it, and then by the mid 80s they had completed the restoration, and now it's available for the public to enjoy, which is kind of a nice thing.
I had a couple of people tell me that the White Pool House is the oldest surviving structure in this part of West Texas. Pretty interesting, and the fact that they've preserved it and restored it makes it all the better. As you guys well know, if you watch this channel on any sort of a regular basis, a lot of the historic buildings out here are allowed to fall into decay and ruin, and eventually are just torn down, and the history behind them is more or less forgotten. So it's really, really groovy to me that a bunch of like-minded people got together and they decided to preserve the White Pool House. Very cool indeed. So on that note, I think I'm going to go ahead and bring this episode of Tim Kreitz Adventures to an end. Put the plug in the jug. We'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for tuning in. Take care of yourselves, take care of one another, and we'll see you next time. Bye!